Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, and welcome to What If Deku Was an Amalgamate, Part 1. Last we left off with All for One pulling off Deku's newly discovered tail, and the quirks. There was 3 quirks you guys wanted me to give Deku that you guys chose, which was Shadow Manipulation, Disintegration, and Teleportation. I liked the teleportation and the disintegration quirks. I also did like the shadow manipulation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine teleportation and shadow manipulation together to one quirk. So it's going to be complete shadow is what I'm going to call it. And disintegration is going to be one quirk. But Deku's able to combine it with his weapon manipulation quirk, where he can, where he can shape his hands and stuff into weapons. So let's get back into this. We start off with Deku, the age of 13. He's sitting in his cell, just staring at the wall. And the Nomu still just laying in the corner. It's still all bloody and just pieces of it missing, but still growing back every now and then. Deku would constantly walk over to it every now and then and just rip off a limb and just go to town eating on it. And whenever he would be experimented on, his body would adjust to it so that the next experiment would be harder to do. This would go on for a few more days until Deku had enough and he tried to break out. His fingers turning into claws and his whole entire body gaining the texture of steel. And he charges out of his cell, breaking it with the Nomu with his tail wrapping around the Nomu's leg, dragging it behind him. Deku would get bigger and bulkier so that he could have enough strength to carry it. As it was still being dragged, Deku makes a run for it to get out of there, but was shocked and sent to the ground. Unknowing to Deku, they put a chip in his body that, if he ever tried to escape, would shock him with enough force to send him to the ground paralyzed. But it wouldn't last for long, until his body became able to manipulate electricity for a short amount of time, just for him to push the chip out and get away. So that's what he would do. He would reach his hand into his body, grabbing the chip, pulling it out, crunching it, along with anything that was attached to it, as his body would just instantly regenerate and close up the wound and anything that was pulled out, and he would just continue running. Everyone would watch this on the cameras as well as the doctor, as they would get angry that they just lost their best experiment ever. As Deku starts to debuff and the Nomu's still wrapped around his leg, he starts just walking around. And I don't know if you guys want to ship for this. I don't think that I should give a ship for this, because I mean, yeah, but it's up to you guys what you guys want to know. If you guys want this to have a ship, go for it. I'll try and fill it a ship. But this is going to be on you guys. I honestly don't see anything being shipped onto this, so. Deku would walk the streets for several weeks, until he just came across an alley with a dead end in it, and he would just throw the Nomu against a corner, and he would just hide. He would just lay down next to it, and would just lay there for a few hours. Someone with blonde hair and two long pieces of hair sticking up would find the boy and the Nomu, would grab them both and bring them to, well, UA. And they would just go down to the basement and be locked into a cell in UA. Deku would wake up and would just look around and start panicking as he looked to his right to see the Nomu just laying there. And he would just calm down and walk over to it and just pick it up and just throw it against the other side of the wall. Unknowing to Deku that Nezu and All Might are watching this, he just picks it up like it's nothing, throws it like it's nothing, and then just starts beating on it. They want to stop it, but they just see all the wounds regenerate from on the Nomu. Deku gives up after a little bit, just walks over to the other side, gets onto a cot-like bed, and then just curls up on it and goes to sleep. The tail sticking out. The tail starts to protrude from his body. It starts going out and curling around his body, acting like a trigger warning for him. Anybody gets near, the tail will stretch out, sting him, and paralyze him. So Deku would just sleep there for a couple minutes. As All Might would walk into the room, the tail would instantly go to where All Might was standing. All Might would dodge and get out of the way as the tail would be stuck into the wall. All Might would just walk over to Deku, tapping him on the shoulder. As Deku would wake up in a jolt of shock and just have his claws instantly go out and just slash at All Might dodging him, taking a step back, and then Deku just sitting there on his bed like a cat about to fight with his tail about to sting at him like a scorpion. All Might's thinking to himself, this kid has some good reflexes, but he's been through something. But what is that something? Wait a minute. This handiwork, that thing in the corner, all for one. He must have done something to this kid. As All Might would walk up to Deku, putting his hands up, reassuring he's not gonna attack, saying, "Hey, kid, can you speak?" As Deku's deformed mouth would open up and deep groveling voice came from Deku saying, "Yes, I can, but make it quick." All Might would ask Deku where he came from. Deku would say that he came from a laboratory with a man with a giant mask, and he gave me quirks. All Might instantly had the answers he knew. He would say, "Thank you, young man. You can go back to sleep, and before you do, what is that thing over there?" Deku would look over at the Nomu and would look back at All Might and say, "My food supply. Don't touch it, or I'll make you mine." All Might a little taken back by this to know that he can eat whatever that is over there and just be fine with it. All Might says, "Okay, I'm not gonna question it. Just go ahead and go back to sleep, okay?" Deku then lays back down and curls up into a little ball and just falls asleep. All Might walking back into the room with Nezu. I'm gonna say Nezu, Bloodflad, the teacher for 1B, Aizawa, and I'm gonna say Recovery Girl and I forgot his name. Gran Torino. They're all just sitting in that room together, just looking at. Hang on. They would all just witness what this kid did, or what he said. They would all just walk to the conference room and talk with the other teachers. And they would pull up a video display of the kid in the room. As they would pull up the voice recording of the questioning and answering. As they would just sit there and watch the kid for a few minutes. As Deku would wake up, walk over to the Nomu, ripping off a limb, and just start munching on it. Everyone being a little disgusted, but knew this kid's been living off it for a while, if this seems natural to him. They all came to a decision and their decision was, let's see what he would do in the hero course. And that's where I'm going to end it. I hope you guys enjoy. See you guys in the next video. Peace.